So in the previous classes, we discussed about the phenomenon of magnetism. We discussed how beautiful it is, how it was quite accidentally discovered. And after that, we studied how magnetic fields are formed around the places where electricity is passed through a conductor. Is that clear? So today, we are going to extend our knowledge in this regard. So I think you have all seen the patterns that are formed when a conductor passes through. I mean, when a current carrying conductor, when you have a current carrying conductor and you have some magnetic particles like iron filling sprinkled on it. Do you remember the pattern to be like this? Do you remember how to find the direction of magnetic field? That is called as right thumb rule. Okay. So we did these things and we kind of discussed how we can formulate our own laws to see what is happening here. Today we shall start with a specific topic that is called as the solenoid. What is it called? Solenoid. Did anybody of you hear about solenoids? So solenoid, I guess you should have heard in your previous classes. So what is a solenoid? Especially, you take a wire, suppose a copper wire, and you just wind it into many such rings. This is called a solenoid. The piece that you get, this structure is called a solenoid. Now, what is the property of a solenoid? You will be very interesting to note the properties in a solenoid. When electricity is passed through it, suppose you attach a battery to this and you let the electricity pass through it. So, suppose the electricity is moving like this, going like this, okay? If you look from this direction, if you have an eye here, if you look from this direction, can you see that electricity is going like this? Can you see this? So, can you tell me the direction of magnetic field that will be produced because of this loop? If current is going circular, see, if the current is going straight, the magnetic field is circular. Now, if the current is circular in nature, the magnetic field will be straight line. And how is that? Is it into the paper or outside the paper? Into the paper, inside the paper. Yes, simply by right hand thumb rule, everybody can apply right hand thumb rule. Everybody can roll their fingers into the direction of the current flowing through this closed. This is not a closed loop, but current flowing like this in circular pathway. So you can see that the magnetic field is pointed inside the paper. So you are seeing from here and you are seeing it inside. So can you say that the magnetic field is like this? Now you would be surprised to know that if I talk about the entire magnetic interference of this is how the structure looks like. This is how the entire field looks like. And it solely depends on the direction of the current. Now, does this field line look similar to something of bar magnet? This is very similar to bar magnet. Do you notice this? This is one of the property of a solenoid. Because of so many closed loops together, the field structure, see, a current moving through a conductor is bound to produce magnetic field. Here the structure of the magnetic field is exactly like a bar magnet. So what happens, you would be surprised to know the applications of this. Like, why the hell would I just wound such kind of conductors in just random shape? What have I got to do with that? Actually, you would be surprised to know that this simple thing has many practical applications. Which kind of practical applications? See, when you have, suppose you have a piece of iron. Do you know that when you put a magnet in front of iron, the iron becomes magnetic in nature? Did you notice this? When the iron is attracted towards the magnet. Do you see that that piece of iron will attract many other iron pieces? So basically, when a magnetic field is constantly present here, when a magnetic field constantly influences this, what happens is any kind of iron, it becomes a magnet. This is exactly what is done by a solenoid. Now suppose this is a piece of iron. This is a piece of iron. Suppose this is a piece of soft iron. What is soft iron? What is hard iron? I'm just coming. So this is a piece of soft iron, and if you just put it inside the solenoid and pass current through it, it will become a magnet. This is called as electromagnet. Absolutely. Yes, this is the same phenomena that is used in the big trucks. You know, did you see those trucks? See those trucks near the dump yards where they pull out the iron pieces from trash? Did you see it ever? Did you see this? Wait, let me find a video if I can show you. And they will keep that. How are they keeping it? They are just releasing the current. Okay. When the current is flowing, it becomes magnetic. When they stop the current, it loses its magnetic nature. Are you getting my point? These electromagnets are very good when they are very huge objects, huge, I don't know, you see. This concept of electromagnet has vast applications, okay? It has vast applications. How? See, there are two distinct nature of elements which are magnetic in nature. Like you have, in case of iron, suppose you have soft iron and suppose you have hard iron. Okay, soft iron is made such that the moment you take off the current, it loses its magnetic property. It cannot retain its magnetic property. Are you getting my point? But what is hard iron? Suppose you pass electricity through it, it will retain the magnetic nature that it had. Okay. So like in case of this junkyard, you cannot use an electromagnet made with hard iron. But suppose you have the magnets that are available in the market. Did you see that? There are magnets available in the market. So those magnets are basically hard iron. So when those are subjected to a magnetic field, what happens is this become permanent magnets. Are you getting my point? Soft iron cannot do that. The moment you take away electricity from an element of soft iron from the solenoid, it just loses its magnetic property. That's the reason why it is useful in very real life application. Suppose you can attract something and then you cannot throw it off. Then you cannot do so many tasks which can be otherwise done by just attracting and releasing it when required. Are you getting my point? I said that hard iron is such that it can retain its magnetic property. It can retain its magnetic property. Like when you magnetize it, it will not suddenly lose its magnetic property. If you just throw it, if you just bang it multiple times, then it may lose its magnetic property. Otherwise not. Are you getting my point? But soft iron is something, the material, that instantly loses all its magnetic properties if you take away the current. Is that clear? Clear enough? Fine. So there are many real life applications of solenoid. Like suppose there are some iron particles that went inside your eyes because of some accident. So the doctor would use an electromagnet to pull it out of your eye. Otherwise, if the doctor becomes a chef and he tries to pull it out using a cork or something, or a fork or something, your eyes may come out, not the iron fillings. Are you getting my point? You will see in S. Chand, they use a very sophisticated electromagnets to pull out the iron fillings that may have accidentally gotten into the eyes. Are you getting my point? So now, how to judge? How to judge? You have a coil. How to judge which side will be north and which side will be south if it is acting like a bar magnet? So once again, it's very easy to judge. It depends on the direction of current. Okay. Suppose this is the direction of current. Let us suppose that this is the direction of current. So if this is the direction of current, if you see from this side, you will be seeing it circular, right? So the magnetic field will be inside the paper now. If the magnetic field is inside the paper like this, can you say that this will be south and this will be north? Because the magnetic field goes from north to south. Are you getting my point? So suppose current is going in this direction and you are seeing that the direction of current is like this. If you see it from here, if you put your eyes here, you would see the current in this direction. Is this clear? Up to this? You will see current like this. If current is moving like this, then what will be the direction of magnetic field? It will be inside, isn't it? It will be inside the paper. Am I clear? Now, if it is inside the paper, please understand, that means the magnetic field is going in. Now, the magnetic field, you know, always starts from north and ends at south, isn't it so? So if it is going in this direction, it means that it is coming out from this direction. So this must be north. Yes, I mean not shuru hocche or shesh hocche. This is north and this is south, because we know that the magnetic fields originate from north and end at south. Is this clear now to everybody? So you can just check on how the current is revolving, and you can easily judge or you can easily comment on what will be the poles. I mean, which side will be north, which side will be south. There is one more simpler and a simple trick to understand this. Suppose you look from a side and the current turns out to be like this. So you can say that it is south. If the current is clockwise from one side, you can say that side is the south pole. And if you see from one side that the current is anti-clockwise, then you can infer this is not anti-clockwise. This anti-clockwise. Suppose from one direction you see it is anti-clockwise. You can infer that it is north. This is a just small trick, nothing else. This is not a law, this is not a rule. This is a small trick which makes your job easier. Are you getting my point? So if the current you see is revolving like this in a loop, so that pole will be the south pole. And if a current is moving anti-clockwise, it will be north. This is how you can remember it. This is a trick to remember. Is that clear to everybody? This was all about a solenoid. Now, let's come to the crux of this chapter. You can just read about solenoids more and more. Okay, let's come to the crux of this chapter right now. The crux. What is the crux? That is force on a current carrying conductor to magnetic. Okay, this is very important to know that when there is a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field, a force is exerted. Are you getting my point? This is very interesting to know. The moment you have a magnetic field and a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field, you will experience a force. Okay? Do you want to see an experiment before proceeding to the theory? Actually, this is the chronology. This is the chronology that first you should get accustomed to. So this is a current carrying wire. Now, where is this kept? Under a magnetic field. Are you seeing that there is a horseshoe magnet which is providing a magnetic field from north to south? Are you seeing this? This is the entire apparatus. Now just watch the experiment. The moment the switch is turned on, are you seeing that it is attracted towards the right hand side? Are you seeing this? Now they will turn the switch off once again. Did you see this? The entire apparatus? See it once again. Did you see the experiment that when there was a current carrying conductor which was placed in a magnetic field, a force was being applied? Now, how does this happen? Or how can we study this? This we shall know it here. So, suppose you have a horseshoe magnet like this. It can be any other apparatus. And you have a current carrying conductor like this. Suppose this is from north to south. If this is the situation, then you have to formulate an idea of how the force will act or in which direction the current carrying conductor will experience the force. This is given by a very interesting rule called as the Fleming's left hand rule. See, there are three components. In this situation, there are three components. First, there is a current carrying conductor which is carrying current. So there is a direction of current first. Secondly, there is a direction of magnetic field. And the third component is a force is getting applied on this. Is this clear to you? Fleming's left hand rule deals with all the three variables, which will give you a kind of fair idea on how the force will act, or if you suppose know that this is how the magnetic field is placed and this is how the force is acting, you can tell what is the current. Suppose you know the current, the direction of current, and you know how is the force acting, you can tell the direction of magnetic field like this. Are you getting my point? Okay. So what is Fleming's left hand rule? So Fleming's left hand rule is very simple. First, everybody of you try this. Everybody of you try this. You put three fingers of your hand. Let me magnify this. These are the three fingers of your hand. Okay. You put it like this, such that each finger is perpendicular to the other. See, this finger is perpendicular to this. This finger is perpendicular to this, and this finger is perpendicular to this. Are you seeing this? So you put your hands like one finger is perpendicular to the other. Is that clear? Everybody, can you hold it like this? Everybody? Now, just remember this one thing. There are a few conventions here. You just need to remember which finger represents what. So the thumb represents the direction of force. Okay? The thumb represents the direction of force. Here, you must understand this is left hand rule. So you must apply your left hand here. This is very important that you apply your left hand to this. This is Fleming's left hand rule. So in your left hand, you understand this. This represents the direction of force. The fingers pointing gives you direction. Okay, if it is pointing down, the direction is like this. If it is pointing like this, the direction is like this. Is this clear? So the thumb represents the force. Force that is being applied, or force that the current carrying conductor is experiencing. Now this index finger, this is a field. Okay, this represents the direction of magnetic field that is being applied, or the direction of the magnetic field under which the wire is in influence. Okay, this is the direction of the magnetic field. Is that clear? Finally, what is left is middle finger. This middle finger represents the direction of current. Whatever is this direction will be the direction of the current. Now, what you need to do, you just need to adjust the parameters with its proper direction to find what is necessary. First of all, you tell me, is the placement, the positioning of the hand and the fingers, and what each fingers represent, is this clear to you? It represents the direction of current. See, there are only three parameters that you are dealing with here. There is a current carrying conductor, there is a magnetic field, and there is a force because of that magnetic field. So therefore, you have three parameters. You have three fingers for that: thumb, index finger, and middle finger. Thumb represents the force, index finger represents the magnetic field and with proper direction. Middle finger represents the direction of current. Up to this, is this clear to all of you? Now let us apply this situation. Let us apply this situation to this case here. Let us apply this situation to this case. So everybody start with your left hand arranged like this. Then you have the current carrying conductor here. So the direction of current is where the middle finger points. You have to adjust this. You have to adjust this with the direction of field. The field is from north to south, up to down. So you adjust it like this. Left hand. So the middle finger is pointing towards the direction of current. The index finger is pointing towards the direction of the magnetic field. Can you see the thumb is pointing towards left? Put your fingers, align it in the proper direction. So this is the direction of current. This is the direction of magnetic field. These are perpendicular to each other. You arrange your fingers like this. The middle finger will point in the direction of current, and you have to adjust your index finger so that it represents the direction of the magnetic field. So are you getting that this is like this? Arrange it. Arrange your left hand like this. Can you see that the direction of force is on the left? So if this is the arrangement, the conductor will get attracted towards the left. The force will act on the left. Is this clear? To everybody, is this clear? This is called as Fleming's left hand rule. So what does Fleming's left hand rule say? That if you take the first three fingers of your left hand and arrange it perpendicular to each other, and if the index finger represents the direction of magnetic field, if the middle finger represents the direction of electric current, then the thumb will represent the direction of force that the conductor will experience under that magnetic field. Try an example. Use your brain a little bit. Now, suppose there is an electron. Suppose I have a magnetic field in this direction. And suppose I push an electron through this in this direction. This is an electron. And this is the direction of magnetic field. Can you say in which direction will the electron get deflected? Option A, to the right. Option B, to the left. Option C, out of page. Option D, into the page. Okay, this is your question. Just try a little bit, think on it a little bit, and then answer. Think properly. You need to think. This is very simple. There is one simple point here to note that will solve the entire question. The point to note is that the direction of current is opposite to the direction of electron flow. Okay, this is what we have learned in the chapter of current electricity, if you remember. Okay, so if electron is in this direction, electron flow is in this direction, the current will be in this direction. Now start with your left hand. Current is in this direction, the magnetic field is in this direction. So can you see that the thumb is into the paper, into the page? Do you understand? This is the direction of magnetic field and this is the direction of current. Thumb is pointing into the page. So into the page is the correct answer. Clear? What? Bujhte parlam bhai. The direction of current is represented by middle finger. The direction of magnetic field is represented by index finger. The direction of force is represented by the thumb. Please understand this point. Please understand this. You can't think it. You have to put your hand and try it yourself. Left hand, of course. So you know that the direction of current is opposite to the direction of the electrons. So if upside is the direction of the current, so middle finger will point up. If index finger is the direction of magnetic field, it will point in the direction of magnetic field. The thumb is pointing into the paper in this arrangement. Please look at this. If you arrange your hand in this particular order, you will see the thumb into the page. Hence, the electron will experience force into the page. Is this clear? Yes, that is what I say. So, these kind of questions are very much expected. I mean, you expect this kind of questions. Now, let me give you one more question similar to this. Now, suppose you have and this is the direction of magnetic field. Now, suppose there is a current carrying conductor which is carrying current in this direction. Can you tell me in which direction will it get attracted, or in which direction will the force act on this? To the right, to the left, out of page, into the page? Solve this. So let me solve this if you have not managed to do it yet. So see, once again you have your left hand to rescue. So see, this is the beauty of laws of physics. Without even getting to do the experiment, you can foresee, you can foretell what will be the result. So the magnetic field is inside. So your index finger will be inside. The direction of current is up. So your index finger is inside, direction of current is up. So your thumb is to the left. So the force will be to the left. Is this clear? Okay. So with this, why did we learn this? Why did we learn this force on a conductor? How is this important? This is important at almost everywhere. This thing, this simple thing in the form of Fleming's left hand rule that you have learned is actually everywhere around you. Not one moment goes without this. You will ask how. So let me introduce you something called as electric motor. What is a motor? Something which rotates. What is an electric motor? Something which rotates with the help of electricity. Like you have your fan here which is rotating. This is because of a motor. You have your table fan, you have your fan. Then you have an exhaust, which is once again an equipment run by motor. You have the cars, the wheels of the car, which run by the motors, which is powered by the engine. Actually, everywhere you are going to see motors here and there. In this mobile phone, suppose it is in the vibration mode. Whatever notifications come, it is in vibration. Once again, this is because of motors here. So motors are basically everywhere. You want to pull out water. You want to pull out water. Have a motor ta chaliye deto. You want to pull out water from the ground. You have motor. Everywhere you can see hardly any place today where there are no motors. What is the idea? How did this engineering masterpiece called as motor came to us? This is by the simple observation of the effects. The effect that whenever a magnetic field is applied on a current carrying conductor, it experiences a force. So basically, if you talk about electric motor, this is everywhere, maybe in different forms, in several complex forms. If you talk about the engine of an aeroplane, that is motor. If you talk about the rotor of a helicopter, that is a motor. If you talk about submarines which propel them, it is a motor. Without motors, you hardly see anything today around. Every house you are sitting in, every room, there are a handful of motors here and there. It must be. So, how is this possible? That we are able to rotate a structure by producing electric current. See, when a structure is rotating because of electric current, that means there is some force that is being acted on that system, isn't it so? And that force can happen only if you have a magnetic field along with the current carrying conductor. Is this clear? I'm telling that electric motor is a phenomena that you provide electric current and the damn thing rotates. Now, how is this rotation possible? The rotation is possible only because you have this phenomena of application of force, isn't it so? Therefore, you must have a magnetic field. Without a magnetic field, a force won't get applied on the current carrying conductor. Is this clear? Did anybody of you have this question in your mind, that why should a current carrying conductor experience force in a magnetic field? Did anyone have this question? Did this come in anyone's mind, that how does this happen? How does an electric current through a conductor result into it experiencing a force in a magnetic field? Did anybody think about this? Any opinions? Start with your opinion one by one. What do you think? Why does a force act on a current carrying conductor which is under the influence of a magnetic field? Why does this happen? You already have the answer. You just have to think. Huh? Very good. Very good. Very good. This is the answer. You already have an applied magnetic field. And with that, you have a magnetic field that is produced by the current carrying conductor. Whenever there is a current carrying conductor, it produces a magnetic field that we have seen, isn't it so? Whenever there is a current carrying conductor, it produces a magnetic field, as we have seen. And if we are already in the presence of magnetic field, can you see that one magnetic field over the other will cause force? This is what happens. If you place two magnets in front of each other, won't they experience force? They will, right? This is the reason why when a current carrying conductor is in a magnetic field, it experiences some kind of force. Tell me if there is any doubt in this. Now we shall explore the functioning of an electric motor. I want you to appreciate how intelligently the design was done. Because whatever, you have a straight conductor, it might either move in one direction. It would move in one direction under the influence of magnetic field. It won't rotate. But we have a system of current carrying conductor that we have used to rotate. This is a phenomenal work of engineering. This is what I want you to explore. Okay. Now, suppose here is a magnetic field north to south, and here you have a coil like this. This is with open end. This is with open end like this, and you have some brush here, carbon brush. Why carbon brush? So that this damn piece can rotate. This can rotate, and with that you can also have the current to always flow. The current brush will always be connected with this part, so the current will always flow. Now suppose you connect this to a battery. Suppose the current flows in this direction. Please understand the mechanism here. So basically, first let us take the application of this wire. This wire, you forget every other thing, you take this piece. Now this is a wire that is actually a current carrying conductor under the influence of a magnetic field, and it is carrying current in a particular direction. Can you tell me the direction of force that it would experience? If you have north pole here and south pole here, that means the magnetic field is towards the right. The current is, if you look at from here, it is into the page. So where will the force, where will it experience the force? So current like this, magnetic field like this, can you see that it will experience the force downwards? Now this is the current that is going and it is again flowing back through this part. Now in this green where the current is flowing like this, can you tell me what will be the direction of force on this? Please use your head and tell me. This time I want to take answers from Anneshwar. If you understand this, you will understand nearly everything about motors. If you just understand the mechanism of this. See, the current is flowing like this. Now it is towards you. The magnetic field is in the same direction. So you are getting the direction of the force on this conductor to be up. So see, if you have a loop like this and this is getting downwards force, this is getting upward force, it would rotate in this direction, isn't it so? This is how a motor rotates. Now if it rotates in this direction, this is where the application of the carbon brushes come into. Now suppose these are rotating. Now this starts rotating once. Now after that what happens? At a point it is like this, na? When it will be rotating like this, at 90 degrees it will be like this. This is the point when you don't have the touch of the brushes. So at that point instantaneously the current stops, but because of inertia it keeps on rotating. It does not stop. Do you understand? It keeps on rotating. Now because it keeps on rotating, once again it achieves this point and then again it gets a force and then it rotates. This is how a motor rotates. Are you understanding my point? Are you getting my point? Is this clear to you? Let me show you a video so you will understand it. See this. Are you able to see this? Is the screen visible? Watch this video. Observe the green lines that are the force. I mean, that is the direction of force that is being acted. Did you get this? Did you get the functioning of motor? You understand the force acting like this? Shagnik? Do you understand how the force is acting on the coil? You yourself have said down and up. This results in rotation. Isn't it so? This results in rotation. This is how it rotates. This rotates and then it comes to this. When the current is not there momentarily, but because of inertia, it again comes into the same way. Are you getting my point? So the same situation is obtained. So this is actually how the motor rotates. Is this clear to you all? Yes. When it comes to this position, you see there is no touch with the brush. There is no current, but there is this inertia of motion, which again allows it to come to this state and again start. Okay. This is how it acts. If you read the NCERT, it is very beautifully written how the magnet or the magnetic force acts and results in the rotation of a motor. This is clear? Okay. Is the mechanism of rotation of motor clear?